In a world divided by opinions, there's power in dialogue. Welcome to Mind Clash, where ideas collide, perspectives evolve, and truth emerges. Let's think deeply, debate respectfully, and grow together.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this lively debate between two towering intellectual figures, John Stuart Mill, the champion of individual liberty, and Carl Schmitt, the defender of state authority. The question before us is whether governments should control vloggers on social media. Let the debate begin.
Carl, my friend, let me start by saying this. The idea of government control over vloggers is an affront to human liberty. Social media is the modern agora, the marketplace of ideas. Vloggers are the voices of the people, creative, bold, and unafraid to challenge the status quo. To silence them is to silence progress itself. My harm principle is clear. The only justification for restricting someone's freedom is to prevent harm to others. Are vloggers harming anyone? No. They're sharing ideas, opinions, and art. Let the public decide what has value. Government control is nothing but censorship dressed up as protection.
John, always the idealist. But let me ask you this. What happens when your precious marketplace of ideas becomes a breeding ground for chaos? Vloggers aren't just harmless artists. They're influencers with the power to sway millions. And when they spread lies, incite violence, or undermine the state, who will stop them? The public. Don't make me laugh. The state exists to maintain order, and in times of crisis, like the informational chaos we see today, the sovereign must act decisively. Vloggers are not above the law. They must be regulated to protect the collective good.
Collective good? That's a slippery slope, Carl. Who defines the collective good? The government. The same government that could use this power to silence dissent, crush opposition, and manipulate public opinion. You're handing them a blank check to decide what's acceptable. And let's not forget, vloggers often hold the powerful accountable. They expose corruption, challenge authoritarianism, and give a voice to the marginalized. If you give the state control, you're not protecting society. You're protecting the powerful from scrutiny.
Accountability. John, you're living in a fantasy. Vloggers are not saints. They're opportunists. They thrive on outrage, sensationalism, and division. They don't hold power accountable. They destabilize society. And in the chaos they create, the real threats, extremism, misinformation, and anarchy, flourish. The state must act as the ultimate authority, the decision-maker in times of crisis. If that means regulating vloggers to prevent harm, so be it. Your harm principle is too narrow. The harm caused by unchecked speech is often invisible until it's too late.
Invisible harm? That's a convenient excuse for tyranny. You're arguing for preemptive control based on hypothetical dangers. What's next? Banning books because they might inspire rebellion? Silencing scientists because their findings might upset the status quo? The real danger is your blind faith in the state. Governments are made of fallible humans, prone to corruption and abuse. Give them the power to control speech, and you'll see how quickly they use it to crush dissent. Liberty is messy, but it's better than the alternative. A society where the state decides what we can say, think, or create.
Messy. John, your liberty is a recipe for disaster. You talk about corruption, but what about the corruption of truth? Vloggers spread conspiracy theories, fake news, and propaganda with impunity. They erode trust in institutions and sow division. The state must step in to restore order and protect the public from this onslaught of misinformation. And let's be clear, this isn't about silencing dissent. It's about ensuring that the public sphere remains a space for reasoned debate, not a free-for-all where the loudest and most outrageous voices dominate.
But who decides what's reasoned debate, Carl? The state? That's the problem. You're putting the fox in charge of the henhouse. The solution to bad speech isn't censorship, it's more speech. Let vloggers speak, and let the public decide. Educate people to think critically, to question, to discern. That's how you build a resilient society, not by handing power to a paternalistic state.
And what happens when the public fails to discern, John? When they're manipulated into violence, hatred, or chaos? Your faith in the masses is touching, but it's also dangerously naive. The state must act as the ultimate safeguard, the authority that steps in when the public fails. This isn't about paternalism. It's about responsibility. The state has a duty to protect its citizens, even from themselves. If that means regulating vloggers, then so be it.
And I say the state's duty is to protect liberty, not to control it. Your vision of authority is a threat to everything we hold dear. Let vloggers speak, let the people decide, and let truth emerge from the free exchange of ideas. Anything less is a betrayal of the principles of a free society.
And your vision of liberty is a luxury we cannot afford. The state must act to preserve the conditions under which freedom can exist. Sometimes that means making hard choices that protect society from the chaos of unchecked speech.
And with that, we must conclude this fiery debate. Two brilliant minds, two starkly different visions, one prioritizing individual liberty and the free exchange of ideas, the other emphasizing the necessity of state authority to maintain order. The question remains, where do we draw the line? Thank you, John Stuart Mill and Carl Schmitt, for this electrifying discussion.
Thanks for joining the Clash of Minds. Don't forget to subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and join us next time for more philosophy and debate.